trying to regain its traditional position in terms of being one of the key banks in the Kenyan industry. Remember, this is a bank that 10 years ago was the most profitable bank in the banking industry in Kenya. So we are seeing Barclays again now start talking about things like agency banking, which they could not talk about when they were still reporting to Barclays PLC. And going forward, when you are seeing with all this happening, we might see again more
allow me to barge in, Maurice.
We might see a bank that will again go back and start competing efficiently with other banks, which again will give them some leeway in terms of how they operate.
So, Maurice, was it a question of Barclays failing to respond to the market demands, simple things like customer relations, issues to do with changing their strategy for the African market? What led them to this situation, and how do they come out of it?
If you listen to what Barclays PLC is saying, that they want to come off African markets, they want to refocus now on their key markets being UK and the US. They have cited a number of reasons, in fact, even including the systemic risk with African markets, that is now making them look back to their core markets, which used to be UK and the US. And if you look at this, still Africa still remains one of the growth market areas for Barclays PLC, and we are likely to see this one, if handled very well, likely give some Barclays Kenyan operation some leeway in terms of adopting the current trends in banking industry to make them compete effectively with their peers in the market.
And Maurice, the big question now is who is likely to buy the stake? A lot of big banks in West Africa, and we've seen interest coming out all the way from even Asian banks. What are we likely to see in the coming days?
There are a number of serious Pan-African banks that can again buy this stake from Barclays PLC. And if you look at it, of key interest, Abi, if you look at now, as Barclays is exiting African markets, their former CEO, Bob Diamond, is busy investing in a number of banks in African markets, especially the sub-Saharan space, which now again confirms that African banks and African markets still remain the key growth areas, and still African banks, sub-Saharan banks still remains attractive and remains more profitable. There are likely more players that will come. There are more likely more players that will come again that are targeting that market, that we can't rule them out. Big Pan-African banks in African space, again they are there, and again we can't rule out Atlas Mara under Bob Diamond.
Yeah. Maurice, one other area of concern among customers is, will the bank still be there? Because there is a lot of speculation going on that could actually trigger a bank run of some sorts. Are you worried that a bank run could hit the bank?
I think the key thing that needs to be communicated to clients is what exactly is happening. It's not that Barclays PLC are selling their shares in Barclays Kenya. Barclays PLC is coming out of Barclays Africa Group Limited, which in turn owns 62% in Kenya. It's not that Barclays Africa Group Limited now is selling their stake in Barclays Kenya. That one needs to be communicated. And again, it's just the issue of reassuring clients in terms of proper communication, what's going on and what's going to happen. And again, we are seeing these things will happen in the span of like 2 to 3 years. It's not going to happen like immediately. So the key thing remains communication and explaining properly to clients what's going on, so that the operation of the local unit continues as usual.
Yeah. Many thanks, Maurice, for your interesting insights regarding the financial services sector. Maurice Odoro there from Sight on Investments, just dissecting these critical issues of what's happening in the banking industry for us this afternoon.